it going, everybody? Welcome to another installment of whatever we're fucking calling this. The thing that I'm doing where I talk about movies people are curious about, and yeah, we gotta find a good name for it so I can make a playlist. Here's my cat, fucking around. Lucius, get down. Go on. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but yeah, man, we gotta come up with a good idea for a name. Anybody have any suggestions? You can throw that fucking down there. I don't know in the comments. Oh yeah. Okay, so without further mumbling and fucking about, today we're gonna talk about Starry Eyes, 2014, written and directed by what the fuck are their names? It's a team of director slash writers. Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer? Widmeyer? Maybe. Probably Widmeyer. Yeah, man. Okay, so this is one of the suggestions from my friend's fucking, like, big chunk of movies that he's curious about that he commented before on, like, one of my previous videos. So, you know, I'm gonna work through those, like, slowly. I'd seen this movie, oh man, probably like a year ago. It came out in 2014, and it's been available, like, streaming and stuff for probably about a year. And I remember being super excited about it because I saw the trailer on one of my little trailer binges that I go on occasionally on YouTube, and it just looked fucking fantastic. So, like, I watched it, like, as soon as it became, like, readily available, because, you know, I don't like to steal a ton of shit, like, if I can get away with it, you know. So I remembered liking it, and then I just kind of forgot about it for a while, and then, you know, this whole thing came around, so I figured I'd fucking revisit it and shoot out, like, my official opinion, you know, give you guys the rundown on what the fuck this thing is, and it's pretty awesome. It's a good movie. Pretty much the whole deal is, like, from the trailers you can totally get this. It's kind of got this maybe, like, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls-y kind of fucking atmosphere of, like, you know, there's this lady and she fucking moves to, like, she wants to be, like, an actress or whatever, so she moves to, like, a city where that's fucking possible, you know what I mean? But that kind of shit's going down, like, all the time. And it's kind of like that classical kind of a deal where, like, people are like, I'm gonna do this, like, sweet ass thing, like, I'm gonna be, like, a musician or an actress or whatever, and they fucking move to, like, some place, and it turns out to be shitty, and they get a shitty job, and they meet a bunch of shitty people, and they themselves become shitty, and maybe, you know, the twist at the end is they get successful, but they fuck themselves up, like, in a whole lot of, like, spiritual ways or whatever. Same thing, but, you know, this movie's the same thing, but with, like, demons and shit, and, like, fucking, like, weird, like, cults, and fucking, like, this whole strange fucking thing. So, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like if H.P Lovecraft wrote Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. This movie begs the question: what would Beyond the Valley of the Dolls look like if H.P Lovecraft fucking was involved in the production? Because it's got a whole lot of shit like that. It's got, like, you know, creatures from beyond the stars, like, infesting people, and, like, weird, like, magic and shit going on, you know. It's good times though. It's a fucking, like, it stands up, like, pretty well. It's a pretty good film. It's got some fucking flaws. Of course, they all do. If they didn't, you know, then I don't know what would happen. Something bad, maybe. If there was a fucking perfect movie, I can't imagine that. Would it be over? Would cinema just be over? Who knows? But yeah, that's totally what it's like. It's like that classic narrative plus spooky shit, which is fucking cool, man. It's got a lot. It's got a lot to do with, like, movies that have come before it. Like, definitely, like, there are a whole bunch of visual references in it to Possession, like 1981 with Isabella Adjani. I can never pronounce the fucking guy's name who directed that movie, but it's a real good watch. But his name's like Andrzej Lowski or some fucking shit like that. He's another Czech director, and of course I can't, it's a moon man language for me. You know what I mean? Like an English speaker, I can't do it, man. Let's look his name up and see if there's Here we got IMDb open, of course. We're going old school with this one because I'm far too lazy to actually do any research or write anything. Andrzej Zulawski is the fucking guy's name who directed Possession, and like, this movie has like a lot of like weird visual references to that movie, and if you haven't seen that one, that's fucking great. There's like a whole ton of like really that movie is fucking bad news all the way through. But yeah, there are a few scenes where like the lead actress in this, her name is Alex Assos. This is like, I'm pretty sure this is the only thing I've seen her in. Like she's not. Yeah, I think so. Passion Play of Audrey. I don't know. Fuck that. Oh, the Passion Play she played Audrey. Yeah, I don't think I've seen her in anything else. But there's a lot of like times in this where she's freaking out and shit. There's like because like when the whole like bad news aspect of this movie begins, like she fucking she gets hooked up with an audition for some production company that's been around since like old timey, like sexy Hollywood, like in the fucking like 30s and shit. And she goes to this building and the casting directors are there. There's like the assistant and the casting director. I love it when they fucking do that in movies where like they have like super pivotal like characters, but they don't fucking like their name is like their job title and they're all mysterious and shit. And these guys do a real good job too of being just fucking horrifying and alienating. What are their names? Sorry, I keep looking shit up, but Starry Eyes. Here we go. Oh man, they're so good. It just being spooky, and she has like this spooky interview with him, or this spooky audition. Mark Center is the assistant, and Maria Olsen is the casting director. Mark Center, I've seen him in like one movie before. It's fucking Jack Ketchum's The Lost. He plays this guy named Ray Pie. So good in it. He's the only good thing about that movie. This guy's a really fucking good actor, man. He's like super charismatic and he's really good at being fucking spooky. Kind of reminds you of Crispin Glover a little bit, Like this movie had a larger budget, they probably would have gotten fucking Crispin Glover to play that dude. Maria Olsen is the casting director. Oh my god, she's so weird, right? She's awesome. And I guess she actually is a casting director on some movies, so she's got that shit kind of together. But yeah, she shows up for this fucking thing, like this old weird fucking building and shit like that, and like she fucks the thing up and she doesn't get it, and then like she's got this Sarah Alex Esso, right? She has this weird like self-mutilation thing where she fucking pulls her own hair out, and she goes into the bathroom and starts fucking freaking out, pulling her own hair out and stuff. And it totally reminds me of the scene in Possession where Isabella Adjani goes into the fucking subway and she was like shopping or whatever, and she fucking just starts spazzing out down there and freaking out and shit. She does the same thing with her neck. They have like a really similar neck where she like fucking throws her head back and like her neck's all like weird and tendony and stuff, and she's all screaming. And like the casting directors like call her back into the room and they're like, freak out like you did in the bathroom. That's the kind of shit we want to see. And she does, and like once again, it's like fucking like Possession. It's very cool. Yeah, like there's a lot of like this movie's like a whole lot of other movies that I fucking like, right? It's kind of got like thematic ties to this movie called Society. I think it came out in 1989. I'm not gonna look it up, but it's fucking awesome. And it's just about like gross yuppies like going through horrible bodily transformations and like weird orgies with their fucking sisters and shit like that and their daughters. It's like it's got like incest and gross like slimy slug people and shit like that. But like a lot of it like feels like that because like what ends up happening is she goes through all these fucking interviews or why do I keep calling them interviews? Fucking auditions, right? And like she ends up meeting like the producer of like this production company or whatever in this fucking like weird like old-timey fucking mansion. It looks like, I think the outside of it might be the mansion from Hollywood Boulevard, maybe. I don't know. It's like one of those old like weird Spanish style fucking like mansions, and they go in there, and he's like trying to fuck her and stuff like that, and he's talking about like all this weird like shit, like and kind of like intimating that like everything's like run by like cults and stuff in fucking like Hollywood and shit like that, and she freaks out, and then she goes back later and sucks his dick, and she starts undergoing like this fucking like disgusting transformation because like she starts to become kind of like host for like some like weird being from beyond the stars or whatever who like wants to be an actress, I guess. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of that like weird like kind of body horror that you don't see anymore in this movie. You know, where like people's bodies like change to like reflect like certain things that are going on. This was like real popular in like the 80s and 90s, body horror and like splatterpunk and shit like that, were like two big things. So you had guys like Clive Barker and fucking Cronenberg and shit like that, like running around like doing this kind of stuff, and whoever the fuck directed The Stuff, which is like one of the nastiest fucking body horror movies ever. Like people like just twist their arms around and get all weird, but it's a similar kind of a fucking thing. It's very, very cool. I like all the stuff that they touch on in this movie. Yeah, because like they're obviously like their influencers are like shit that I already like, so I'm already gonna like the movie. I can like visually, it's very pretty. This is a good. It's kind of a feast for the eyes. It's really well shot. It's really well framed, well lit. Which is like, considering like the budget for this is like pretty small, right? It started out as a Kickstarter, actually, and that's where they got all their money, or most of it, But it looks like real good. Like they did a good job of just like filling this in like ways that are very like pretty. None of the camera work seems to make too much sense to me. Like it doesn't. Often I have a hard time trying to figure out what like they're trying to express with like the framing and like the editing and shit like that. But at least it looks pretty. It looks fucking great. The whole movie looks awesome because we got this Sarah chick, right? And she moves to Hollywood. Gets a shitty job at like some like Hooters kind of analog. I think it's called Taters or whatever. Gross. She starts hanging out with all these fucking disgusting hipsters who were assholes to her. And like they're kind of friends, but they're all super jealous of each other, and they've all got their own like dumb art projects that they're never getting fucking done, And they all hang out by this pool and just act like shit all the time, right? So that's like her whole environment. Everybody in this movie is pretty good though. Standout performances of fucking Sarah's friends. Definitely go to there's this guy. There's a character called Danny, right? And he's like, he wants to be like a director and shit, and he like lives in a van. It's fucking like a big deal. But he's played by Noah Segan, who's a fucking awesome actor, and he's in a ton of these tinier movies, like the small ones. He was in Looper. He was that guy from Looper who just like gets fucked up all the time. By like various like shitty circumstances. He's like one of like the gunslinging like gangster dudes from the future. He's fucking awesome though. He was in Dead Girl. If you've ever seen Dead Girl, it's fucking rad. He was in Brick. He was the dude. He was like the leg breaker for like the fucking like drug dealers or whatever in Brick. You know, he's like that's like his pretty much his whole career is playing like kind of sleazy or fucking like weird, like gross dudes. But he's fucking good at it. He's awesome at it. I wish he was in more stuff and like that he was more famous and shit because like fucking Noah Segan like has it together. He's like really he's real charismatic, you know. And he's real good at playing like sleazy guys. They're like kind of gnarly. So he's like, you know, as supporting cast goes, he's fucking like he's on top of it. He's the gem in this one. The only other actress or actor I know of in this like group of just kind of supporting people would be Fabian Therese, right? I've seen her in one other movie. She was in Southbound, which she's way better in that. You know, she's good in this. She's like super hot and stuff. And, like she's just hot actress lady, primo shit, right? But like in this movie, she's kind of a non-entity. She's got like her character's just written to be an asshole, you know. And like she plays it really fucking well, but like just I think just like the character, she plays the character right the fuck out. But like she can't like I don't think quite transcend like the writing of that particular, the kind of boring writing of that particular character, like unlike Noah Segan who fucking kills it, right? She's good in Southbound though. She's like pretty much the best fucking thing about that movie because I was really hoping to like that. That was another thing I like became aware of during one of my trailer binges, but it's like very like she's super good in that one. Even though that movie's kind of crap, she like fucking she saves that. I'll talk about Southbound in a different like a different context, a different video because that deserves like fucking digging into. But yeah, like performances are good. It's well directed. It's very pretty. There's one scene in particular that is like just awesomely edited. But once again, like, well, in this case, the editing and the mise en scène and shit like actually do have like they really do like communicate like what's going on well because like what is it, Sarah's like second audition with these people, right? She ends up like having to like rub one out in front of the casting directors and stuff, and like this weird fucking like she just pounds her like stuff in front of him and like rubs herself off. It's like super it's super explicit. Well, like not really, like you can't see anything going on, but like, you know, she's like going crazy with it, right? And like the way they edit the scene, right, is like the one thematic visual thing about this movie is they definitely like they go for like strong light sources a lot of the times, and like a lot of the scenes where spooky shit's happening will be like a single like really like strong like light source because I think they're I think they're trying to communicate that like, you know, fucking like emanations from like the stars and shit are like coming down, so it's like one big giant light source. So she's like in this room and they're like taking pictures of her doing this stuff, and like they edit and like juxtapose like the really intense like flash from the camera like with their like face all lit up like doing like orgasmy shit, you know, like they and like this whole editing like thing goes on for like a while, right? And like everything else is just like negative space, like dark, you know. It looks fucking awesome. It looks really cool, and it makes sense because like at that point she's starting to like kind of freak out and like go over to like monster side, you know. Like she's starting to like kind of skirt around like her like transformation into like a weird bald-headed claw monster, you know. But yeah, that scene's like real good and it's very spooky. It's not like super like she's doing sexy stuff, but it's kind of one of those things where it's not like super actually sexy, right? Water is another thing in this movie that they use really well. They use like water to is like that kind of like gateway between like different like fucking like levels of like the movie, which is very cool. I like when they do kind of like I like when they do shit like that. Like there's this pool party scene where like after she thinks she fucks up her final thing, she won't fuck the director or the producer that runs this production company. Like she does a bunch of drugs with her stupid hipster friends and then jumps in a pool. And then like when she comes out, it's almost like fucking like baptism in like the spookier world, you know? Because then she just gets her shit together, goes to this guy's house, fucking like sucks his dick and starts like starts getting like into full on monster cult like territory at that point. Because like it's weird too, because like they kind of have you could pull religious imagery out of that because like the director guy who lives in his van like gives her I think it's some ecstasy or something like that and she like takes it, so it's almost like a little communion like cracker or whatever, and then she like jumps into the fucking water and it's like baptismal stuff, and then she fucking like you know then she sucks off the producer, so it's almost like you know drinking that like wine and shit like that. So there's like a whole bunch of like weird shit that you can pull out of there, which I love. I love that kind of fucking like blatant references to spooky things, but like at the same time, you know, it could be a lot of different stuff. I dig that, you know. So then she goes home, she starts freaking out, and like her fucking hair starts falling out, and this is where we start getting the body horror stuff. And it's fucking awesome. Like she looks real bad. Like the makeup makes this lady look real bad. Like her hair's fucking like coming out, and her fingers are just getting like super weird because her nails are getting sharp, and she looks all sick and shit. And like there's one point where I don't really understand why this happens, but she like just pukes up like a ton of maggots in the bathtub, and like I couldn't exactly. It's spooky. This is one of the problems I have with this movie. Like they do a lot of spooky shit just because, right? You know, they'll put stuff in there that like just kind of doesn't gel with the rest of the film. Like why would you fucking throw up maggots? Like, you know, it doesn't really like make any sense. Just like thematically with what the monster that's going to inhabit her is. You know, like because it's obviously like some like H.P Lovecrafty, like Cthulhuoid, like thing from space, so there's no reason to fucking throw out maggots. However, Alex Essos is fucking badass because I was looking up a little bit of trivia about this like last night, kind of in preparation, and I guess she didn't want to use like CGI because she knew it was gonna look fucking like the maggots were gonna look bad. So she just took a fucking handful of those things and put them in her mouth so she could spit them in the bathtub. So that's fucking dedication. That's badass. I wouldn't be able to do that, right? So, but yeah, she starts freaking out, and then this is the other thing that like this is the third act at this point, right? This is like after that pool party, it's like the transition, which is also very cool. You know, I dig that. But she starts getting all unhealthy and stuff, and she hates her friends because they're like, she tells one of her friends that she sucked this guy's dick for like a roll or whatever, and it gets around, and everyone's fucking being like real mean to her and shit like that. But she ends up fucking stabbing like all her hipster friends, which is awesome. You know what I mean? Like if anybody likes to see disgusting hipsters get fucking stabbed, it's me. but it doesn't work within the context of the fucking movie. And I don't think there's any reason for it to be there. That's like the climax, right? Like she goes to this house after they're like done doing their fucking stupid shit or whatever. And then like, and I hate like all these people. Like Noah Sagan, like I hate his character. Like he's real good at like making people like despise him in movies. Such a good fucking actor. Noah, you're awesome. But yeah, she goes to this house and like fucking like kills him with knives and shit in like a whole bunch of different ways. And like at this point, she's like fully undergoing like her monster transition. But it's not necessary. It's fun. It's fun to watch him get stabbed. Like the effects they use and like the editing makes it look real gnarly, and like real fun, but it's not necessary for the rest of the movie. Like, I don't know, like going back to Possession, right? Like, I think maybe 2 people get killed in that movie. I haven't seen it for like 3 years, but I think the body count's like 2. You know, but that's one of the most fucking fucked up movies I've ever seen, and this could have gone that way, right? They didn't really need a whole bunch of shit. They could have still done the monster transition, but like, it almost felt like it felt tacked on. It felt like, you know, we're making a horror movie. Gotta put fucking murders in there, right? Or people are gonna be bummed out. That said, though, they are handled in an awesome way. They're like a bit disturbing, like because it's they do like one take for like the violence throughout like most of them. Like she fucking like knocks this one guy on the ground, just fucking stabs him in the back, and he's all screaming and shit. And it's just one take, no edits. You know, and there's like she smothered somebody with a fucking plastic bag. You know, and once again, it's like one take, just like that. And you can see her like freaking out. You know, there's like no edits in it, which is good. I like that. Like when you're like trying to emphasize like how fucking like kind of uncomfortable something is, and you just fucking hang on it a lot. The editing throughout the rest of the movie is like real tight though, which is cool because I've noticed like modern movies, particularly like independent ones, they'll fucking hang on shit for like a while, you know, often. But this one, the editing's like very tight. There's none of that like kind of like trailing off and like different like stuff. It's fucking like tight, good editing, right? But like this, you know, a scene just it's not that great. You know what I mean? Like it's great, and that it's super violent and she kills a bunch of people that I hate. You know, it's not. It just kind of it just doesn't fit in with the rest of the movie. It feels like an afterthought. Yeah, and then and at the end, like she links back up with this fucking like cult that's been like doing shit like ever since the fucking 30s or whatever, which is awesome. I love that. I love the intimation that like, you know, there's fucking like spookier shit behind the decision making process in Hollywood. I've always loved that. That's another kind of reminds me a little bit of like Mulholland Drive. How like there's all that weird shit trying to influence the director of that movie to make casting decisions and shit like that. And that cowboy shows up at his house and fucking threatens him, and it's all weird. It's a similar vibe with this. Like there's like weird forces and shit behind, you know, decision making processes, which is awesome. But they go to the Hollywood sign. She gets and they do this fucking like weird ceremony with like they make like a pentagram with glow sticks and shit, which is crazy. Like I think they're like, you know, they're trying to just like vector down the evil star being or whatever that's finally going to inhabit this chick, you know. And it's unclear that she gets buried alive during this whole process because like they fucking like they have this awesome like scenes where she's in this like weird like membrane and stuff, and she's like they once again they do the little montage juxtaposition editing with like the people doing the thing and like her and like this weird fucking like cocoon membrane thing like it's just kind of like with like a whole ton of negative space. It's obviously like in a different place. It's just like in a black like fucking just like void or whatever, and she's in there and it's just like clawing around and like her fingernails are all sharp and shit like that, and she ends up like this one's kind of weirdly edited because I didn't realize that she was like buried in the ground, and then, you know, the sun comes up the next day and she digs her way out of her own grave and shit, and she's all fucking like bald headed and spooky looking, covered in like just a whole bunch of gore and shit like that. And she looks awesome, but like once again, it's just kind of like it doesn't make too much sense, you know. Also, with you don't need a membrane and a cocoon and also to dig your way out of the ground because like they mean the same things, you know. So it's almost kind of like redundant, right? If that makes sense. But yeah, so you know, and she fucking like she goes back to like her apartment or whatever, and like it's full on at that point. She's like she's turned into like this monstrous kind of like old timey Hollywood like starlet, you know, like with a just fucking like except bald with like crazy fucking like claws. And then the movie's over at that point. That's awesome. So yeah, Starry Eyes, man. Give it a watch. Have I been talking about this for like 30 minutes? I have. Okay, I'm sorry. This one was long. But yeah, like, subscribe, do those fucking YouTube things. Visit my other stuff, and okay, yeah, I guess I'm gone.